Hello, Facebook or not Facebook. Well, you're going to end up on Facebook. But my YouTube folks out there, I'm Dr. Tammy, and I'm just trying to straighten this out. Okay, there we go. I couldn't see very well if I was straight or not, but there we go. Uh, Anyway, I'm Dr. Tammy, and this is my YouTube channel. And I have been talking about reducing anxiety. How many of you out there have struggled with or are struggling with anxiety? Just raise your hand wherever you're at. I can't see you, but I know I have. And I have actually worked as I am a clinical psychologist and a marriage and family therapist. I have worked for many, many years in a wide range of settings, working with folks to help them reduce their anxiety. I have worked with all ages, children, adolescents, adults, elderly, geriatric population. Anxiety affects all of us. All of us can be affected by anxiety. And particularly as we have come through the past couple years of COVID, lockdowns, uncertainties with finances, with jobs, with um, businesses, if things are going to remain open, even gyms. People couldn't go to the gym, and that's a big outlet for a lot of folks to be able to help with their anxiety. Also, social clubs and social settings were closed down, and so that also interfered with people's capacity to just let off steam and connect with other people and really feel like they weren't alone. Now, if you have watched previous videos, then you're going to understand the um, the physiological part of anxiety and what I've described. If you haven't seen them, please go back and watch the first part and even the second one, part one, where I explain about anxiety and how it affects our bodies. That's the physiological process. And that is so important for you to understand that so that you can know what is going on with your body. In this video right here, I'm going to teach you another skill. Now, I believe it was in part two. I think it was part two where I taught you grounding exercise. This is going to be talking about resourcing, another skill that's going to help you to reduce your anxiety. It is incredible. Grounding and resourcing are two very powerful tools that you can use to reduce anxiety. But a real quick recap is anxiety affects our physical body. It affects how we're feeling. That's why people avoid it. That's why if you're feeling anxious, you tend to avoid the places where you are going to experience more anxiety. Some people have a social anxiety. So maybe they're not experiencing anxiety in other settings, but a social setting where they get out and they go out in public and they get anxious and they feel awful. That is a social anxiety. There is also a general anxiety that's what we call GAD, so a general anxiety disorder. And that's just an overall general anxiety in most all settings. Okay. So there are different reasons why anxiety has come up for you. Um, you may have experienced it from the time you were young. In fact, many people have that predisposition, as we would say, a predisposition for anxiety. Um, Maybe you've developed it from going through trauma, going through awful situations, uncertainty, all sorts of circumstances, situations can actually lead to anxiety. Now, the longer that we have anxiety and we live with anxiety, the more difficult it will become for us in many ways. I know that some people have had anxiety and they've gone on to develop a more severe anxiety, which has, like a social anxiety, which has led to agoraphobia, which is the inability to leave their homes. So, but here's the good news. So if you're watching this, this is good news. The good news is anxiety is treatable. Anxiety can be managed and overcome. Now, sometimes folks have to go on a medication to help initially, but I have experienced people who learn how to manage anxiety and they can go off of their meds. So that's good news. Anxiety can be reined in and managed, and you can train your body how to respond differently. Now, I'm going to teach you the skill, but of course, I need to put this disclosure out there since I am a therapist and I am a psychologist. I need to let you know that I'm not doing therapy here. I'm not providing you with therapy. This is not a replacement for therapy. This is simply giving you some information. I'm giving you some, I'm teaching and giving you some information about anxiety and giving you some skills that can help you. Now, if you are feeling like you are not in a good place, you are dealing with depression and overwhelming anxiety, and you've tried to manage this and you just can't seem to do it, I highly, highly recommend that you seek out a therapist, a licensed therapist, and get that help because there are a lot of good therapists out there who can really help you. Like I said, anxiety is absolutely, um, treatable. So we can get to a place where it no longer rules our lives. Okay, so are you ready for your exercise? Resourcing. Okay, glad you are. So what I want you to do is and now again, we're going to teach the body how to listen to what we want it to do. Okay. So I want you to come up with a memory. I want you to think about a memory that was so pleasant and happy. It's got to be something that's very happy and a memory that can actually really see detail. Okay. So I want you to think of it for a moment. I'm going to give you a moment to come up with that. Okay. Do you have your memory? Okay. And it can be from any time in your life, from the time you're young, an adult, but something that you experience such happiness and joy. And it's a very, very clear memory. Okay. Now what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to picture yourself there. I want you to go there in that memory. Okay, are you there? Just nod your head. Now, I want you to just fully embrace being in that moment. I want you to notice what you hear. What do you hear around you? What do you see? Can you smell anything? Now, what are you feeling right now? I want you to notice this in your body. Notice in your body what you're feeling. This is very important. Some of us will feel a happy feeling in our chest. Sometimes we'll feel it all over. Sometimes in our head. Just notice that feeling right now. It's very important. Okay, notice that feeling. Okay, go ahead and open your eyes. Okay, my friend, that was a very simple exercise called resourcing. And what I encourage you to do is take that and build on it. So I want you to come up. You can write it down. I encourage you to write it down. So it's your first resource. Then I want you to come up with another memory. I want you to think about another memory, another happy moment in your life, and I want you to go there in detail. And the idea is to allow all of your senses to experience it. Where you're there, if there's water, you can hear the water. If there are trees, you can hear the breeze. You just fully go there, and then you notice and stay with what you're feeling in that moment within inside of you. Okay? I want you to practice several of these. Come up with several of these resources and add them to your grounding. And what I encourage you to do is do your grounding, practice your grounding, and go from grounding right into one of your resources. And we will do this. I will take you through this on our next video, and I will call it grounding and resourcing. Okay, reducing anxiety, grounding, and resourcing. We will put those two together because here's the beauty of this. What ends up happening is when you are doing that grounding and that resourcing, you have now activated your parasympathetic nervous system. The part of the nervous system, the part of that autonomic nervous system, that branch that is calm and chill and at peace. Now remember, the autonomic nervous system, meaning automatic, you have two branches, the para, which is the calming, and the sympathetic. That sympathetic nervous system is the one that gets us into trouble. When we start feeling anxious, that sympathetic nervous system is kicked in. But when you're doing the grounding and the resourcing, you force the parasympathetic. You're forcing your body to go into that place of parasympathetic. Okay, makes sense? So the goal is you practice these two and you get good at them. And then we practice getting you activated so you get your sympathetic nervous system activated where you start feeling anxious, and then you switch the channel and you go right into grounding and then into the resourcing, and you shut down that sympathetic and that parasympathetic kicks in. My friend, when you can do this on your own in your home or wherever you are, you will get to a place where you can do this out in public. No one will know what you're doing, but you will be able to do this when you are really activated, and you'll be able to take that moment. You will be skilled to take that moment and do the grounding and resourcing, and you will shut down that sympathetic nervous system, that anxiety, and you will be able to carry on with what you're doing. Totally awesome, right? Okay, so if you like what we just did, if you like this, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel so I know, and we will continue doing work like this. I just encourage you to practice this. You can do it. I know you can do it. Honestly, I have watched so many people overcome their crippling anxiety to the point where they couldn't leave their homes. They were able to overcome using simple skills like this. So I know you can do it. Please practice. Subscribe to my channel. Leave comments. Let me know how you're doing. God bless you. And I will see you next time.